You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Coming straight at you like a bout of diarrhea, Angry Tensai and Big Dick. Raw Reaction. Welcome back, everybody. Big Dick, how you doing tonight, buddy?
And decisions, here we come. Doing pretty good, brother. Slept a solid 13 hours last night in anticipation of our show this evening. Just wanted to make sure there was going to be no snoozing once again myself. So,
I'm a fan. In fact, I heard that you slept 13 hours because we are going to go 13 hours on the show tonight. This is how long we're going to go tonight on the air. Have you heard likewise?
That wouldn't be my first time going 13 hours. Just ask E125, my friend.
You know, I recently saw E125. Just to throw that out there.
Wow.
I don't know how that.
I can only assume that she was asking about me quite a bit.
Oh God, yeah, of course, always. How you doing tonight, Big Dick?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's the first time I've seen a full Raw in probably a month, and there are good parts, there are bad parts.
Well, you've been away for quite some time. We've only had you back 1 week this month due to much international travel, as you do every year this time of the year. I have to say, although there were some slow spots tonight, this show overall, I'd put it in an A- just for hyping Hell in the Cell and the fact that we were able to see the Shield reunite, even if it was a bit of a tease for one night only. That was very exciting stuff, huh?
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of the show. That, along with the hype for the Undertaker Brock Lesnar match. I think that this can be a great match. I'm not sure how it ends. I mean, half of me thinks that Brock Lesnar takes Undertaker out and shoots him like a dog. Half of me thinks that Undertaker gets the last win and rides off into the sunset.
Did you create this
I don't know.
Profile? Mr. Beck?
What's up, brother?
Did you create this E125 profile?
I did not. Is she on top of our broadcast right now?
Well, no. I forgot it. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was a good show. What'd you think of the first segment? We start with Stone Cold Steve Austin tonight, who's hyping up not only his podcast, which is going on right now with Brock Lesnar, which we got a taste of before we went on the air, and they were talking about their favorite brands of cars. My God, horrible. And then, but tonight I thought bringing out Undertaker to hype up his match with Lesnar was a nice touch. I thought they had some good interaction there.
Yeah, I think this was a good interaction, especially with Stone Cold being from Dallas, Texas area, as well as Undertaker being from Houston, Texas. I think that was a nice touch, and Brock Lesnar being a fucking man. I think this was effective. I think everybody knew the match is coming, and everybody's pretty stoked about it. I would be shocked if this was not the main event at the pay-per-view, and I'm interested to see how it ends. I sort of hope for an end to this feud. I'd hate to see Undertaker go out like he did at the last pay-per-view. Even after a win, he went out on a stretcher, more or less.
I have a bad feeling about this pay-per-view for Undertaker.
Yeah, it's interesting because the last two times he's fought Lesnar, he's gotten he's basically gotten stretchered off. And
Brock's going over in a big way, man.
Yeah, I think so, but I'd be interested to see if it's going to be a retirement match or if it's going to be something to lead up to the next pay-per-view or what exactly is going to happen. I was a little shocked that this next match was going to be at Hell in a Cell as opposed to next WrestleMania.
Right. So, yeah, it'll be interesting nonetheless, but I thought the interaction was good tonight. I liked how Brock Lesnar looked like he was going to fight Undertaker, and I never saw Heyman yell at Brock like he did tonight. He's like, if you go in there, he's in your head, and that's exactly what he wants you to do. Don't do this to him. And then Lesnar dropped down from the apron, and then you just saw Heyman say, now you're in his head. I thought that was kind of a cool. Every little thing Heyman does is cool, man.
Yeah, he really does. I mean, he's one of the better, or he's by far, the best ring general you could have out there. I sort of missed the days where he had another team or two under his belt where he can sort of lead somebody else, like when he was managing CM Punk there for a while. I think that's. I wouldn't see him wrestle or manage another team, possibly a tag team or somebody. But yeah, I think that was. I think he did a great job there, really building it up, and didn't necessarily make Brock Lesnar a chicken shit heel, but he sort of said, "Hey, you know what? It's like he's played his games with you. You play your games with him now."
It's going to be an entertaining match, but you know what I'd rather see than Lesnar versus Undertaker? I'd rather see our very own Killer Kev do a nude hula hoop. Think about that.
I'd rather see our Killer Kev wrestle Naked Demolition.
No, but think of Killer Kev doing a nude hula hoop, gyrating his hips. That'd be a very nice sight.
That would be a sight to see.
Could happen.
That would definitely make YouTube. That maybe stop the press on YouTube.
Killer Kev, you're here tonight behind the glass producing. If we were doing our own independent wrestling show, what's your price? What's your cost to get you in the center of a ring in front of all the wrestling fans, 25 with cameras, to have you do a nude hula hoop?
No. My wife just said no.
That $1 million man.
There's got to be a
Virgil.
price. There has to be a price.
Just says.
What pays me the most without getting me arrested?
Virgil.
Yeah. Well, just being self-conscious.
Wait a minute. Did you say Virgil?
Would Virgil do
that? Yeah, we're
that?
gonna get you a Virgil WO shirt.
Okay. If you could get Virgil there wearing nothing but the $1 million title, I'll do it for $50.
Oh wow. There's something funny about nude white guys, like guys that are very, very white. There's just something about them. Something funny about them. Anyway, that was the Brock Lesnar piece. So the Wyatt Shield thing heated up more than ever tonight. We found out that the Wyatts, and I'm not making this up, the Wyatts took out Randy Orton in Mexico. Any thoughts on that, Vic?
You know what? I've been taken out in Mexico. However, it's by mass quantities of tequila and very bad decisions with the ladies down there.
WWE.
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I know you've made some bad decisions down there, but so have other WWE superstars. Ryback broke up in Mexico. Do you recall they went on a bender, that being Curtis Axel and Ryback, and the Axeman lost Ryback in Mexico and he was gone for 8 weeks? That's what killed the tag team. Do you recall that? Ryback was gone for 8 weeks in Mexico.
You know what? There's a lot of bad decisions going on in Mexico. I almost feel for Randy Orton because he may never be heard from again.
Well, they alluded to Luke Harper still being in Mexico. Is he keeping Randy Orton captive? It's odd. And when did Eric Rowan come back into the mix? He just showed up tonight. Did that happen on SmackDown? I don't know. It was very surprising to see Eric Rowan out there tonight. Originally, there was supposed to be a match between Braun Strowman and another Wyatt family member versus Eric Rowan, versus Dean Ambrose alone, but that changed very quickly to Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus the Wyatts in a handicap match. And we find out later in the night when Shawn Michaels is taunting Seth Rollins backstage, he challenges him to join Ambrose and Reigns, and we get a Shield versus Wyatt match. How did you feel when that was announced, Big Ben?
I was pretty stoked, but I had a pretty good feeling that there's going to be some that I saw at a later time, and number two, I think that I don't even know what you call it with the appearance of Eric Rowan after quite a long time. I don't know if they sort of forgot that Eric Rowan hasn't really been in the Shield for the last 6 months, or I'm not really sure. I mean, did Randy Orton do something down in Mexico with the other Shield member? Did Braun Strowman take him out? Who knows? I was a little confused by just the sudden appearance by Eric Rowan, which no announcers announced until basically he was getting into the ring.
Yeah, I just don't find Braun Strowman intimidating looking. He needs to have realize when you lift weights, there's leg day. He looks really big up top, and he has little tiny skinny legs. He looks ridiculous. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't think he's scary looking. I just think he's a joke.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think
he's not that big either. He's not that big. There's bigger guys in the honestly, I would just like Sheamus or Rusev would crush that guy. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't look at Strowman and be oh man, he's so ominous looking. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like with him, he could have been better served if he was brought up with the Wyatt family to begin with.
Yeah.
I feel like bringing him in now just sort of it puts him in a position where he's their new monster, which I don't know. I mean, I get being unstoppable, but you're crushing Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, who are two guys that you've hitched your rocket to, that you're going to should be main event players, and getting crushed or submitted.
Yeah, the thing I didn't really like about that match either is, Rollins, if you're gonna put him with Ambrose and Reigns, I think you have the match, you go all the way with it. But there was a segment backstage where Rollins was getting interviewed, and he said, don't mistake this for a Shield reunion. This is just an opportunity for me to show what I can do. And I thought right there when he had that interview, I expected the Wyatts to come out of nowhere and kind of surround them, and then the Shield guys were going to make the save. And I think that would have been huge. They didn't take that opportunity. And then when the match came up, I figured they'd at least all come out together, and they didn't. At that point, I knew Rollins was going to leave these guys in the ring, or in some way, jump off the apron or pull some shit. And lo and behold, Rollins leaves Ambrose and Reigns in the ring. And, it was unfortunate. It was something that was going to be really entertaining and cool to watch. And instead we got the letdown. But still, in all, Vic, just the fact that we were going to see that throughout the night kept me watching and was awesome. So for one night, at least we got to see them all together again, even if it wasn't the way we wanted it. So it was interesting nonetheless. But Strowman, well, he had Reigns cornered in the ring, and Ambrose decided to get a cane, and he just beat the ever-loving shit out of Strowman with it, which I thought was cool. And then Roman Reigns went into absolute freak mode and took out every single person after the disqualification in the ring. Eric Rowan blows his spot where he's supposed to take the spear which I absolutely loved. He misses the spot, misses the timing, and Bray Wyatt takes the full spear, and then it's obvious there's a botch, and then Rowan's gonna take the spear on top of that, and Reigns goes over in the biggest way possible. It was cool. I was entertained. So, nonetheless,
I saw that sort of happen where he ran into the ring, and I didn't see. I don't know about. I just didn't see it. I don't have TiVo or any of that fancy shit, so I didn't see. I didn't go back and rewind to see what happened exactly. But you can sort of tell that they messed it up a little bit when he got speared, and then when Eric Rowan got speared also. I mean, you could sort of say it was a little off. But I'll tell you what, I was shocked. Number one, during the segment before the match where Roman Reigns was getting mad props from Ric Flair, he was still getting killed. And then when he brought out, what's his name? Then when he brought out Bray Wyatt, he was getting killed during that segment. But the crowd, I feel like the crowd really warmed up to him when he did that jump over the top rope, which was pretty cool. We got some holy shits out of that, and he got a couple spears, got a couple Superman punches, the kick on the apron. I think that crowd was sort of warming up to him a little bit. I don't know if it's just a one-time thing and they knew it's the best they're going to get, or if they actually were.
They did the other week too when they had that double DQ match. I mean, Reigns, like, as long as you keep him off the mic and you keep him physical, he'll be over. I think when you get him on the mic, that's where he gets in trouble. But my God, he was awesome tonight. I thought it was all good. I mean, Reigns. But the only thing I didn't understand is Rollins is already over as a super heel, and I mean, you're basically setting up his next feud before he finishes up with Kane on Sunday. I mean, that could have just waited till next week. I didn't really understand why they booked that match, but regardless, it was entertaining and it was exciting to see the Shield. What's that?
Who's his next feud going to be versus?
Oh, Reigns is going to crush Wyatt. I mean, Reigns is going to fight Rollins.
Who's going to be the next feud for him?
Reigns and Rollins, for sure. For sure.
Who wins?
I don't know. I mean, I would think at this point we're in October. I think Rollins is going to go all the way and go the full year to WrestleMania. I do. I really think he's going to go the whole year.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, his title reign's been very, very good and entertaining. So it's not like it's dragging. I agree with Kevin before we went on the air. The chase of the U.S. title has kind of thrown things off a little bit, but I mean, Rollins clearly has been a good champion, and I don't see Lesnar immediately jumping into another feud because he's on such a limited schedule. I think Lesnar will win the Royal Rumble in some fashion. That's for sure. But I don't know. I don't see anywhere else you could go but Reigns and Rollins at this point. Otherwise, why did they have the match tonight?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely you're right.
If they are going to take the title off,
it'll be interesting to go all the way because I feel like WWE. I feel like they look past the 10 minutes of what chants and booing and crickets during his actual speaking segments and portion of the segment in the ring, and then I think that they get a super big WWE hard on for when he does his 3-move skill set and gets the crowd. He did a jump over the top rope to get the crowd fired up and got the couple spears at the end. I mean, I don't know. I'm still at a loss. I mean,
I think Nick, I'm more worried about WrestleMania this year because you watch Rollins interacting with HBK tonight, and you think to yourself, like, you see how things are lining up. Undertaker's going to have his match. Rock versus Triple H has been rumored. HBK might, who knows? HBK might be back to fight Rollins. You're hearing Austin and Lesnar. there's only so many spots for people that are actually on the roster now. And even I, of all people who like some of the legends, I mean, you got to have the current day players, headlining these things, so I worry about all the guys they brought in tonight because they really were prominent on the show. So we'll see. I don't think the WWE roster is thin by any means. There's no reason to do all this. So it is what it is.
I think there's more a result. I mean, ratings have been down. I think it was more of a result of, hey, you know what? We got to sort of pick stuff up here a little bit and basically bring in some of our A-plus players. And I don't mean that. I don't think it's I think it's just more of a reaction to not necessarily on-air talent, but more of, okay, look at our ratings for the last 6 months, because I think that they've been getting killed and they needed something. And you bring in HBK, you bring in Ric Flair, you bring in Stone Cold Steve Austin. I mean, that's the lineup you expect to see a couple weeks before WrestleMania, not necessarily before Hell in a Cell.
Well, I think if you need ratings, you bring in Killer Kev with the new hula hoop. Just my opinion.
Oh, I'm not arguing with that at all. I think that's a ratings draw and a half.
No, if you want to bring in ratings, I know who you bring in.
Who do you bring in?
You bring in our special guest who just came on the line with us.
Who is?
E125.
No, special guest, introduce yourself.
Hello.
A name from the past.
I'm here.
The legendary. Do you know your ears must be ringing? Do you know I was talking about you on the air last week?
No, Kev just told me.
Because you're going to love to hear that probably over like the last 4 or 5 weeks, I am the one mark out there that actually likes this team concept and am loving all the new divas and all the new faces. And I've gotten very into NXT over the last probably year and a half. Mm-hmm. And I've enjoyed all the new Prophet divas. And I said, what a great time this would be to have you on the air. And I even thought of you tonight when I was watching the Bellas intentionally botch to make Sasha Banks look bad. How about that?
Yeah, I told Kev, I'm like, he should have told me. In case anybody's wondering who this is Sierra.
The legend.
I'm here. Unlike you, I haven't been enjoying this tag team situation. I like that they brought up different girls to build the storyline, but I'm kind of like sick of the team thing. I don't believe that all these girls actually hang out. And I just feel like if you really want me to take this seriously, why can't these women just go after the belt? Like, the sisterhood of the Yaya, it's just, I'm done. Like, I don't care. It's just like, I can't believe Sasha Banks, who's like a dominant heel, the biggest heel in NXT's women's division, is friends with Naomi and Tamina. Like, I'm expecting her to stand out as the one to challenge for the title. I can't believe Charlotte, who's a natural heel, because she's Flair's kid, is friends with Becky Lynch and Paige. It's just like, it's so forced, and I get that they're trying to go with this whole, women are kicking ass in sports and everything, and we need to stick together and make friendship bracelets and, do all these things together. But it's like, the reality of it is that...
Get back in the kitchen.
No.
Should they have come in as the BFFs, though? Like old school Charlotte and Sasha, and just ripped everybody a new asshole? What do you think?
I would have liked that, but it's just like, I don't know, like, when it comes to the main roster, maybe it's because all these years I'm so used to the women being standalone competitors on their own, and then eventually they started grouping them together. I don't like this. Like, I feel like the only people that should be grouped together as a team is the Bella Twins, because they're twins, they're sisters.
That's natural. That's natural.
That's natural. So I think that should be the only kinship that should be going on. Maybe if you want to put Tamina and Naomi because they're related because of marriage and all that stuff, okay, fine. But I just feel like if you're supposed to be the box in NXT, and now you're the boss of the Divas division. How are you much of a boss if you got lackeys behind you?
I don't like that they don't use her theme music either. They use Naomi's.
Yeah, and the theme music is horrible for everybody. Like, what is going on? Like, I just can't believe any of these girls are formidable challengers to that title. And it's sad to say that, like, going towards WrestleMania, like, the only match I could see that actually would make sense and would work out of this is Charlotte versus Sasha Banks.
Right.
And I love Nikki Bella.
Well, I have a question for you. And I asked Kev this question. Especially, and I think more so for the divas than I do for the men. I'm convinced the NXT ring is a lot smaller, because why is it that, like, when I watch like an NXT men match, like I'll use like Neville and Bo Dallas, for example, or Charlotte, or how about I'll use Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks, because they had such a good match a couple months ago. Like, why is it once they get in a WWE ring, the match seems so watered down versus what I watched them do? Like, is it because of, like, the agents make them wrestle that way? Like, I don't understand why it doesn't translate to as good as a wrestling match.
When it comes to that, the thing is, like, I've questioned that for years, and the way it's been explained to me is that, especially from watching Total Divas, even though some people crap on it, it gives you a lot of insight of what these women are dealing with. And what basically happens is that you can have the match of the year in NXT all you want, right?
Right.
You come to the main roster, one, you got to deal with creative and what they're giving to you. Then you got to deal with agents. If the agents think that you're doing moves that are too hard for the girls or too dangerous, those moves get stripped from you. So then what you're left with is a snapmare and a body slam. Then you go out there and you're told, hey, you got about 15 minutes. Okay, before you hit that curtain, they say, no, you got 3 minutes.
Right.
So imagine all of that being taken away from you, and then going out there and you're thinking to yourself, and you guys come up with this great match in the bag, but now you've got to change it and slice this off, slice that off, because they told you, hey, we're going to restrict you. Now they're trying to do this thing of where they're giving them more time. They're trying to force this storyline which has been going on for months now.
But they're picking the wrong ones, Ciara. They're not putting the right 2 out there or the right 3 out there. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're picking the wrong combos.
Yeah, and it's one of the things. It's the combos, and I feel like if they didn't force this storyline down fans' throats to make us actually watch this and enjoy it, if they had more so did like they did at NXT and threw 2 girls out there every week, it was 2 different girls. Every week is 2 different girls, right?
Yep.
And then over time, we got used to this, having a women's match, and we started growing towards them organically like it did in NXT. Like, when they rebooted NXT, you had Summer Rae taking on Emma. Then you had, like, Sasha Banks taking on one of the Funkadactyls. It was like these random one-off matches. But every week there was a match. And over time, you got to understand these characters and grow towards these women. They're not doing that with this. They're just forcing us to pick a team, as opposed to pick a favorite.
Like it's an interesting perspective. You know, one thing Vic and I were talking about last week, and I saw it tonight, and maybe I'm wrong. I do feel like Nikki Bella is very limited, and I do feel like she's done the best she can with the talent she has. And I appreciate that. She's a good heel, but she's limited. And I feel like I don't know. Did you watch that match tonight? I felt like she intentionally was working stiff. Like, not stiff, almost like, it was kind of like reminded me of how the Miz worked the Ascension. Like, they came in, he wasn't really working with them. It made them look bad that first night they came in. And I feel like that happened tonight. Go back and watch Nikki working with Sasha Banks. It was almost like Nikki Bella all of a sudden looked lost out there. All of a sudden. When I've never seen her botch that much in one night.
I haven't seen the match, but what you're describing to me, it was just like, maybe something is going on backstage and it's messed with her. I know people want to put out the rumors about her and John Cena, politicking for her to have a better spot in the company, and she's came out and debunked those rumors and said that's not even the case. And to be honest with you, I think it's something going on with the agents, and I think the girls are being vocal with their displeasure and how things are going with the storyline. Like, you've had Paige pretty much say in recent interviews that she's dissatisfied. You've kind of had Charlotte do the same thing.
What is Paige dissatisfied about? She's one of the main characters.
That's the thing that's like confusing me, of like, you're one of the main ones being pushed. And I think with her, it's not more so that she's being pushed, it's more so of that you've got all 9 of these women and they're fighting for no end result.
Yeah, because everybody's trading wins, but Paige's attitude sucks. I saw that on Tough Enough.
Yeah.
And I think she's very full of herself, and I don't think she's as good as she's been made out to be. I think Sasha Banks and Bayley and Charlotte are way more talented than she is, in my opinion.
I like Paige. I've always been a fan of hers, even going back to her Indies days, but I feel like her ring work has regressed in the past maybe year or so.
Why?
I don't think it's been the last time I could say that she had a match where I said, wow, she's actually resembling of what she was doing at NXT. Was actually, I would say that one match her Nikki Bella had on Main Event like a couple months ago. That was it. After that, it just, like, her and Sasha Banks should have been able to click on the first match, and they couldn't. And it just seems like she's just not interested in it, and maybe it's just her demeanor. Maybe that's how she is, but it just seems like she's not interested in the storyline. And then when it comes to the other girls, I feel like the other girls are not as interested in the storyline either, but they're forced to deal with this because this is what they're given. So maybe that's what's going on with Nikki Bella, is that she's fallen out of love with the situation because her and Brie begged the WWE to bring up Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Becky Lynch. And maybe it's kind of disappointing to her to see that, they're pretty much positions as staples of that division, and they're trying to pass the torch on, but Brie
Bella's wasted. Brie is so much of a better worker than Nikki Bella. I don't see how Brie Bella has fallen so out of favor. She's basically a jobber.
Yeah, it's like ever since Daniel Bryan's gotten injured, they just stopped using her.
It's crazy. She's actually really good.
Yeah, I think they're both good. And I think they both pretty much showed that they are capable of putting on a good match, especially with their matches against AJ Lee and Paige. That they showed that they can be, the top divas of the division, but it's like everything's just being taken from them. And I just feel like even when I watch Raw and I see the Bella Twins, like they're trying their hardest to, perform the storyline, but I just look at them and I just feel like, Nikki, Brie, like, you guys do not like this storyline. Like, you're upset because it's not going the way you want it. And on Total Divas, Nikki Bella complains about that a lot, about how, the girls shouldn't have to be saddled with a guy. It shouldn't have to be this way. Why can't we just go out there and wrestle like we used to? And it's just disappointing to watch that it's just all these 9 women just still fighting for teams.
Vic, if you were booking the Divas division, how would you change it?
I think you need a rivalry like the Shield and the Wyatts. And out of the 3 stables that there are, I don't know which 3 make it happen. Ideally, I think all 3 would be awesome if they all literally built up to either a WrestleMania or maybe Royal Rumble, or even Survivor Series. If they built it to the point where all 3 of the teams are going to face off 3-on-3 or 3-on-3-on-3, and that's sort of going to be the end result, the payoff, and then we can go our separate ways after that. I feel like they're getting into Charlotte getting her back, getting Paige turning on her. I feel like they're getting into this stuff too quickly. They're advancing the storyline too quickly and not really building up. Okay, these guys were a team for about a month and a half, and now they're not a team anymore. Now they're fighting.
I agree. If Paige was going to turn, then should just end instead of like they keep toying with it. But the thing I do like with Paige, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte together is that together they do resemble the Powerpuff Girls, which I do appreciate.
Yeah, they do. It's Blossom, Bubbles, and what's the other one? Buttercup?
They totally look like them. But
the weird thing is with Paige is that I remember saying the first night they introduced them, as I remember from her debut, she didn't have friends. She didn't want to be friends with anybody. The only person we known of her having friendship was AJ.
But she also didn't have friends the week before everybody came in.
Yeah, and so it's like, how can you explain to me for this past year that she's a loner, she doesn't make friends easy, and now all of a sudden she has these two buddies?
Yeah, but that only lasted like a month or two. That's not going on. That's not really going on.
It's like
But there's no continuity on Charlotte and Becky. Were they ever together as a combo in NXT? Like,
no,
they were like rivals.
Yeah, they were rivals, and that's what I'm saying. It's like it's blurring the lines, especially if you're promoting NXT. You're confusing the fuck out of me. Like,
yeah,
I understand.
Becky and Sasha probably should have went with.
Yeah,
Paige.
and maybe they're going with the whole curtain call thing where they all hugged and whatever, maybe, but that was like months later. And this shit is just fucking weird. Like, could you imagine during the Attitude Era, Luna Vachon and Sable hanging out as best girlfriends?
Probably not.
Like, I would be like, what the? You just dragged her around the ring a week ago. Like, what?
I get why they did it though, because they're trying to bring all these people up at one time, so it's a different way to do it. But the one thing I didn't like is when Paige did her pipe bomb thing. Like, I thought it was funny that, you know, she kind of ranked on the Bellas personally, which, you know, blurs the line of kayfabe. But she, for 2 weeks in a row, she made like really condescending remarks about Becky Lynch. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised the writers like had her say those things. Obviously she's not saying them, but you're basically burying Becky Lynch. Like, it's obvious she's not really shining. Why would you point that out to the audience and say, like, you know, no one knows who you are? And like, I don't get that. Like, where are they going with that?
I said it felt like Paige went to each girl's mentions on Twitter and read all the bullshit that they get from fans and wrote it down. That's what I felt like she did out there. And the thing that it wasn't what she said to me didn't bury Becky Lynch. What buried Becky Lynch and the rest of the women in that division is the fact that, you know, you have Nikki Bella come out there and doesn't even go at Paige for anything she said. None of the girls said anything back. And I just felt like, if you really want us to like care about these remarks Paige is making, why isn't any of these girls going at her? And then the fact that Team Bad didn't even have a say.
Yeah. Well, I thought Nikki and Brie made out great with that, because we talked about this at length, me and Vic, on the air a couple weeks ago, that we thought for Nikki and Brie, it's great that outside of Total Divas, that they get all this stuff out on the air. So all the fans don't have to think that or make their comments. Now it's all out there with the Cena and Bryan thing. It's out there. Mm-hmm. It doesn't need to be rehashed. I think it's brilliant for them because it's finally out there. You know what I mean?
True. I agree with that eventually that they're going to have to bring it up. But I feel like at this stage in the game that in 2015, if we're trying to promote this storyline that these women are standing together, they're promoting women doing better in wrestling, we're strong and powerful, and whatever the hell Stephanie McMahon said that damn week. My problem is, if you really want me to be convinced that these women got to where they are on their own, the last thing I need to hear about is who the hell they're sleeping with at night. Pull out something else to say she got her way to the top. Like, oh, you only got here.
That is how the Bellas got there. And you maybe not Brie, but that is how Nikki got there. Let's be honest. The other girl grinded, man.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's like, I shouldn't have to keep hearing like, you can use something totally different. So many women in the business have got their way there. But it's like, if you really want me to get engaged in this, the boyfriend, husband thing, like, eventually that's going to become a non-factor to where it's not going to matter. Like, say a year from now, say the Bella Twins are going off the main roster, right?
Right.
And you have 3 other girls debut from NXT. And they're going against Becky, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks. What's going to be the excuse to say they got their way to the top? It can't be boyfriends.
You'll have a respect to the division. Yeah. I really think, even me, listen to me, like, dude, I mean, we really do spend a good 15 minutes a show, and we only go 60 on the Divas division. I mean, literally, when we first started the show, we'd go 1 minute because we respect Sasha and Charlotte so much and how good they are that it's brought credibility to the division. I don't think the Bellas are real wrestlers. I mean, I've said here, I think Sasha Banks is not only one of the best female wrestlers, I think she's one of the best wrestlers. Period. How about that comment? That's how good I think she is. Seriously, I think that.
I would say that she's one of the best all around, especially to come out of NXT. And I would put maybe Becky Lynch behind her, but when you look at Becky Lynch, she doesn't have the amount of charisma and natural chemistry with everybody. Becky Lynch doesn't gel with everybody like Sasha Banks is. Sasha Banks, it's something about her that she's easy to mold her moveset and work with anybody in that ring. And I can't say I remember the last time I seen a girl be able to do that out of the Divas. Maybe
Trish,
Mickie James a little bit, but there became a time where Mickie James couldn't work with everybody. I actually would even say Michelle McCool. Michelle McCool could go from having a match with Beth Phoenix to having a match with an inexperienced girl like a Kelly and still be decent.
Tell us about this Asuka.
So you really want me to just explain to you of like why I love her?
Well, I saw her make Dana Brooke look like a seasoned veteran. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny because like I used to talk about Asuka on the Angry Marks for years, Kana, and now to see her in NXT, it's like what the hell, like, girl, I wasn't expecting you to be here. But Asuka, I would say that Asuka, Kana, or whatever you fans prefer to call her, is probably one of the best Japanese women's wrestler, period, and possibly one of the best wrestlers out of the women around the world. And I would even put up there if you were to do like a top like best wrestlers list, I would put her in there.
Nice.
Because like it's just like Sasha Banks, Kana, to me for years, I've been watching Kana since maybe 2008, 2009, I want to say. Every time I see a match with her, even if it's against somebody that's just completely dreadful in the ring, she can make them look amazing. And there's not many women's wrestlers that can have that capability to do that. And just the way she does her moves, everything looks, even though it's not original, it looks original. It looks like something she came up with before going out to the ring.
Can she
make her kill Eva Marie?
Can she make Betsy Lotta Love look like a professional?
I would say yes.
I thought it was Rosie.
She goes by so many names now.
Oh.
And now she's Andrea.
She hurt a lot of people, didn't she?
Yeah, and she looks completely different now. Have you seen her?
No.
She's lost maybe 200, 300 pounds.
My God.
Oh, damn.
I don't know. I want to see her get beat up just like Eva Marie.
Put the two up in the match.
Oh, come on now.
Okay, I didn't say you had to watch it, but put the two of them in the match.
Slice red.
The Survivor gets a TNA contract.
But there's no Survivor in this with Kana.
Oh, well then we're all the best.
It's fatality. It's like, all those years there was a rumor over in Japan, don't kick Kenta. That's what it is. It's worse. It's murder.
Well, I think once Kana gets hit with the sliced red number 2, she'll be gone.
I hope that doesn't happen. Like, I just...
Red.
Oh my God.
Okay, so, seriously, Sierra, agree or disagree with me on this statement?
Mm-hmm.
Does Asuka really have eyes for Emma?
No way.
Like, what do you mean?
When she made her debut, I specifically noticed it looked like Asuka was looking Emma up and down like she was a piece of meat. Like she was gonna go get her some. Maybe not tonight, But by the end of the night, Emma's going to be her eye candy, if you know what I mean.
So are you asking me, is Asuka looking at Emma and examining her as a future opponent, or is she looking at her and examining her like, I need your digits right now?
The latter.
I don't know. I wouldn't know if Kana was into that. I wouldn't put it past her, but
Well, I don't mean like personally. I mean like in real life. I mean with this character. Could she do that? Could she come out there with another woman on her arm as a valet?
That's horrible. I hope they don't.
And point to and look at the NXT crowd and be like, "This is my girl."
No, that wouldn't be good. Like I would hope that one day they would blur the lines of storylines like that, but
it's bad enough they have Tyler Breeze and Adam Rose as openly gay wrestlers. Not that that's bad or anything, but it's just it's kind of odd.
What are you talking about?
Adam Rose came out with a hot dog. He was with a hot dog.
Okay, I don't think Tyler Breeze is into anything that I'm into.
I don't think Tyler Breeze is into anything but himself, though.
Maybe, but I don't.
He was eyeing up Bull Dempsey when they teamed up in the tag tournament.
Maybe he likes some bull looking. I don't.
He's definitely, that's his gimmick. Which is cool, but that's his gimmick.
It's his gimmick, but yeah, Kev, no, I just hope they don't do that with Kana, because it would just be like, oh god, like why can't she be serious or do something different? But
well, that would be different. How often has that ever been done in women's wrestling?
True, but
why not? Why can't WWE be that company that pushes that edge?
Okay, but it worked in TNA, right?
But you don't take your best worker. Do it to some mid-carder.
Do it to Emma.
Exactly.
Well, Emma looks like she likes the carpet to match the drapes.
You know what Emma also likes? iPad covers. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Did she pick one up for her iPhone 6s yet?
The Walmart that she stole from is literally like a half an hour from me. It is in like one of the worst areas in the state. The fact that she got arrested for that, where she was, like what an idiot. Like let me just say, what an idiot. Emma is a complete idiot. And honestly, you can do that character with her. I do like how Dana Brooke though thought that she beat Asuka. No, I thought that was funny when she was on the gurney.
I really thought it was that match. I haven't been keeping up on NXT except for like the one-off matches that I hear everybody scream about. I go watch, but I didn't watch anything of Dana Brooks. But to see that Kana made her look so good, and I'm just like, is she really that bad? And then everybody's like, yeah, she's really that bad. I'm like, yeah, she's probably really that bad. So I'm glad that she didn't win that match because to me, I feel like Dana Brooke is just going to be another just a mid-carder that's just being fed to the best workers and then the up-and-comers. She's not going to be NXT Women's Champion. No. She's not going to reach that level. She's just there in the division like so many other girls have happened over the years. She's like, okay, on the main roster, when you have nothing else to do and you've got to pull out Cameron, that's what it is.
Dana Brooke is a jacked Alexa Bliss. And by the way, why did Alexa Bliss look very attractive when she was the blue pixie fairy looking girl? But now I think she's like really weird looking.
I don't like the red. I like the blue.
Is that really make a difference in her attractiveness? That she's not like, I don't think she's like very attractive anymore.
Maybe red. Maybe we perceive red as angry. Because it's just so fiery hot, and
maybe
blue is just so
Blake
cool.
and Murphy, and they're just the biggest dorks ever.
Yeah, they're just such dweebs. Like,
they're the worst.
And she actually makes them look better. That's like the only intriguing part of the team is that she's with them.
They're gonna be complete jobbers on the main roster. They're not gonna last.
No.
Then the Ascension?
They're basically like Ascension Junior. They're like like if the Ascension were absolutely horrible, they would be Blake and Murphy.
You know what the Ascension look like? They look like something off of Captain Planet.
I feel so bad for them. They're better than this. They deserve better than this.
Like, they look like one of the villains off Sonic.
As a tag team. I think there was like a Greasers tag team like 10 years ago.
Deuce and Domino.
They could have really pulled off that tag team.
Are you saying they should repackage the Ascension as a new age Deuce and Domino? That would be awesome.
Who's going to be Cherry?
Alexa Bliss.
No, I got a better one. Nia Jax.
I haven't seen her.
I didn't either, but depending just by that ring gear, she needs a new gimmick. It's like wrapping paper.
I don't know. There's another girl that I saw on NXT, like, that looks exactly like Alexa Bliss. Just like 3 girls that look exactly like Alexa Bliss. They all look the same.
Is she blonde also?
Yeah, I think her last name is like Daddio.
Oh, Gianna.
She looks exactly like Alexa Bliss. I'm not kidding.
And then they apparently signed that girl from Tough Enough, Amanda Sacco.
Who also looks like Alexa Bliss.
She looks like, okay, if Alexa Bliss and Gianna Daddio had a love child, that would be Amanda.
Why are they hiring all these Alexa Bliss people?
With no personalities.
They're gonna have Alexa Bliss, Jody Bliss, and like Kimmy Bliss, and they're gonna be
Paris.
The Bliss triplets instead of the Bella twins. Anyway, I digress. We see how it's good to have you here. We've been all divas here, so it's been good. It's good having you.
It's good because I remember when you guys first started the show, the divas would get like 30 seconds. Well,
since we've started the show, and I think Kev could vouch for us, we've pretty much went back on all the founding principles of our shows. Just to recap, we're big Kevin Owens fans. Yes, you heard me right.
Wow.
We like Valor and we like divas now.
Wow.
Do we love Kevin Owens? Yeah, seriously.
And you guys used to troll indie talent.
They're all the best people. But do you know who we actually do like now? Oh, I can't speak for Vic, but I am loving Rusev. The more I see Rusev, the more I love this guy. And like tonight, for instance, when he put the little things Rusev does, I love about him. I think he's incredible on the mic. I love Ruru, the whole Ruru thing. And then I love how when they won their match tonight, this is the little things Rusev does. Instead of trying to be like Braun Strowman, who absolutely sucks, and be a tough guy, Rusev, who's already established as like a mega tough guy, puts the crown on Wade Barrett's head and hugs Sheamus. That is so out of character for Rusev. I loved it, and I think it's great. And it makes me like him even more.
He's became a big softie since getting engaged.
He's awesome. He's kind of like he's growing up right before our eyes. He's like a bro now. I love him.
They should do backstage segments with him where like he just randomly pops up and he's like crying. And he has the Kleenex and he's just like, I'm just so happy.
He's just lost his focus. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like weird, but I would never think that you really love Rusev. I wouldn't. I would think that he'd be one of those guys that you would troll.
I don't like his moveset, but I think he's gotten a lot better. And I'm serious. I really think he's good on the mic because he's funny unintentionally, intentionally. So you heard that right. He's funny unintentionally, which means he's actually a good actor because he's trying to be like the funny foreigner, but that's not trying to be funny, and it works. It works. What was that, Vex?
Would you compare him to Santino at all?
No, because Santino's corny. Rusev is just kind of like, he's just like an American. Like, think about his genesis with the WWE to where he is now. He's like become Americanized, like what he despises, which is so funny. He's like, his character has gotten more American. Look at his first interviews to now. He's into drama. He's into the women. He's losing matches to Dolph Ziggler of all people. He's losing matches to Ryback clean. Like, this is not the Rusev we know. But the thing is, I'm going to tell you, when Lana gets married and they get back together, like on TV, Rusev is going to go on a killing streak. You guys watch, and he's going to dominate. It's going to be cool.
Do you guys think they would do their wedding on TV or at pay-per-view?
I think they'll do one, but not the real one.
Yeah, like, I think that would make for good TV, just the
Definitely.
typical wrestling wedding and all the shenanigans. Like, who would be his groomsmen?
That's Wade Barrett and Sheamus. How cool would that be? I mean, are you kidding me? Dude, so he's teamed up with Kevin Owens. Like, you could use Owens, Sheamus, and that would be fucking hysterical.
No, Owens will pop up powerbomb his wife.
There's so much to do.
And I wonder who would Lana pick as a bridesmaid. Like, who's the maid of honor?
You know, they'd probably bring back, what's her name? Oksana. That would be hysterical.
Oh my god, if Oksana walks down, I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna be like, excuse me?
They would definitely.
I'll be like, you guys are friends?
Alexa Bliss.
I think her maid of honor has to be like somebody like Bailey, because Bailey is nice to everybody.
I think Lana's going to be a face with Rusev as a heel, and it's going to work. And I don't know how it's going to work, but it's actually going to work.
But then she needs like the sympathetic, maid of honor. Like, oh my god, he's so terrible. Like, why are you marrying this guy?
I think Ruru is going to be like a modern day Randy Savage. Like, he's going to be a brute, but to her, he's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be there. I'm telling you, Rusev's going to be big, man. And he already is. But I think I originally thought he was going to lose to Cena at WrestleMania and fall off the face of the earth. And it's been quite the opposite. I think he's way interesting now. And I hated him up until that match.
I think the storyline, it had gotten off track so many times because it just felt like they were just going week by week. And then with this whole storyline of them getting engaged, I'm just like, this is crazy, especially when you had Summer Rae propose to him the week before on television. It's just like so many things have been thrown in this direction, and Dolph Ziggler has been pretty much like moved on.
Dolph Ziggler was made to look like a fool, if you think about it.
And
he looks like a total jabroni.
And I actually think that they shouldn't even use Dolph Ziggler, even though I get that they used him for the steal your girl gimmick. But I think they should have used up-and-coming babyface for that. Like, how dare she leave him for Rusev, the guy that treated her bad?
Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I thought everybody except Dolph Ziggler came out good, even though the storyline ended. I thought Summer Rae came off, actually, for the first time ever, really good last week, which we talked about here.
Yeah, she really did. Summer Rae, she has good work at character. Like, I can believe she's that mad over this. Like,
I did last week.
Yeah.
And she coined Ruru, my favorite nickname in WWE history. Ruru.
Every time you say Ruru, I think of Rue off of Winnie the Pooh.
Rusev is one of the baddest asses on the WWE roster. And she publicly called him Ruru. You don't see the humor in that? I don't know why, but I've thought it's the funniest thing in the world.
I'm sure it's completely unplanned, and like, okay, your WWE title push is now like you're going to WWE Superstars. Sorry, Ruru came out.
Ruru.
Like, and he stood there and took it.
He likes it.
What's this power bomber?
I will marry you, but just not now. He's such a flyer, man. And he's wearing his jacket with his hair slicked. I love him, man. He's such a stud. I'm really a big Rusev fan. And tonight made me love him even more when him and his boys got a big win over Neville Cesaro and Ziggler. When he put the crown on Barrett's head, I almost pissed myself. That's fucking great.
Like he wants to be friends with everybody now. Like he's so happy. He's in love.
Everybody knows that feeling. You had like a great date, and like you feel like, wow, I really like this girl or guy, and you're excited. You're like, how can life be this good? That's where Rusev is right now. So he's like broing to everybody. He doesn't care that he lost to Ryback. Life's good, man. Life's good.
It's crazy. I'm just blown away that you like Kevin Owens.
I love Kevin Owens.
And you know, so funny. The last time I was on Reaction, we were talking about how you couldn't believe that this guy that wrestles in a t-shirt he even signed. Yeah.
Kevin Owens is the best thing that's come to WWE since WrestleMania.
I can tell you guys why. I know why you like him. Yeah, I agree with you. He's been the best part of the show since WrestleMania. He's such an asshole. Like, he's so funny on the mic. He's like what CM Punk is supposed to be on the mic times 10. Mm-hmm. He's so funny. I mean, it's just his dry sense of humor. Like, he is hysterical. I love when he's on the mic. He's the best on the mic. But his mic work is unbelievable. The way he tells the story, the way he told the story about his son, who was a John Cena fan, he's just awesome. He is old school heel, and I love his character. Always backs down up until it's time to fight. Like, when it's time to fight, he'll fight. He's not like Seth Rollins, where he's always trying to cheat and like get one over. He just picks his spot. Like, he's not afraid. He's just smart. He's like, all right, I'm not gonna fight. Nothing's on the line here. He's a what's in it for me heel. And I love that character. I mean, I love the character he plays. Now, as I understand it, his character in Ring of Honor was just, I'm a dominant badass that just kills everyone. I don't like that. And I'm glad that he doesn't play that character. I like the wrinkle of his character where I'll fight you on my terms.
Yeah.
And I'll kick your ass, but not just here now because you challenge me. He's smarter.
Well, his character that you see on Raw and stuff, it's a little bit of that was a part of his character in Ring of Honor and on the Indies. It's just that Ring of Honor pushed it into overdrive until eventually it got like a little bit ridiculous. And he was doing the whole thing, like he pick his fights, he go against you, he wants to go against you, stuff like it was intriguing. And then of course the mic work was there. And one thing I love about him is that he'll say something funny and he's not trying to be funny. And then his facial expression is like, you'll laugh and then you look at his face and you're just like, oh, I'm not supposed to laugh. Like, I'm supposed to take this serious. Like, he was doing it on Indies, and I would say his work in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla was so much better at it. And then eventually they started throwing more comedy in there, and I guess it was just to pop the fans. But it's, you know, I think they found a good spot and situation for him. I see a lot of fans complain and saying like he's buried and whatever, and I'm like, I don't think so. He still has a spot. Like, he has a spot there.
He's like a top guy.
Yeah, like, I feel like given his spot he has right now, if they wanted to throw him in a title match or something like that, they can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, he's not ruined.
I think he's probably the number 2 or 3 heel right now. Seriously.
Yeah, I would put him up there. And the one thing about him that I like is that you can build so much story with him, and then you still had that story with him on NXT with Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn is supposed to be coming back from injury soon. So, like, imagine them two colliding on a pay-per-view.
The thing I worry about with Sami Zayn is, like, he can stand out in a Ring of Honor. He can stand out in an NXT. Mm-hmm. Where he can for a period of time be a focal point and be the Tommy Dreamer to the Raven. But I mean, I think the WWE roster is so deep. I don't think Zayn is going to catch up unless he goes right for Owens.
Yeah.
You know, I know they followed each other over their friends and they follow each other around the world for years, but I don't know if WWE will capitalize on that like you might think.
I think that they should, because especially that since they picked up that storyline in NXT, which is, it's crazy to me that, I mean, I know you don't follow Ring of Honor and stuff, but the funny thing is, like, when I first started watching NXT and seeing them, that they carried over that storyline from Ring of Honor that started back in 2011. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, wow, like, they basically, like, picked up this whole storyline and just brought it to this bigger company. And to see that they are still able to carry that one, like, you know, Kevin Owens saying, like, I almost ended your career a couple of years ago in a match, and you just refused to go away. And I'm just like, Jesus, like, this was the basis of the problem in Ring of Honor, and they feuded for so long. And then if they were to do this on the main roster, I think that would be the perfect situation for Sami Zayn, is to throw him at Owens. Because, you know, like you said, he can get lost. Yes, he's good in the ring. He has a flashy moveset, but there's so many guys on that roster that have that. So if you want fans to actually get behind him as a white hot baby face and actually cheer him like they were in NXT, you got to throw him to the big dog, which is Kevin Owens.
Agree.
And they have natural chemistry. They never have a bad
but
match.
What happens after that feud, though? Like, see, I think Sami Zayn is going to have a rough go of it. I think he'll be a great worker. But I look at Adrian Neville, who's we talk about him a lot on here. He's probably the best worker in all of WWE, period.
Yeah.
He can't win a fucking match.
True.
And he's the best guy they have. Best guy they have, period.
I would, with Zayn, after, I actually would never end his feud with Owens. I would say I would drag this shit out for years. Like,
Well,
have them.
There's
you
feuds
know,
like that.
Yeah, like,
You know?
I'm thinking.
Like Seth Rollins and everybody.
Yeah, like, I feel like they could be the next, like, big rivalry in wrestling. Like, eventually they go off and pair off with different people, but when they get back at each other's throats, it's on again. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it feels like,
Like
not saying it.
Undertaker.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it could be Rock and Austin, but just the thought of it being a next big rivalry like that, like, Steve Austin would go off and fight The Undertaker for a couple weeks. As soon as he sees The Rock, they're right at it. Rock will go off with Triple H. He sees Steve Austin, they're right at it. I think that would be a good idea.
Like Triple H and HBK, same thing. You know, I mean, there's certain guys that you can just pick it up at any time. I agree with that.
And I think that's the best move, because if you don't put him in a situation like that, he's going to be left behind. He's going to be wandering around like a Cesaro.
But if I'm not mistaken, Zayn only beat him once, right? Like, literally one time.
I believe so. And that could be the basis of the storyline.
That is Dream or Raven, man. It's the same thing.
And I think, and if I remember in Ring of Honor, I think he didn't even beat him. So that could be the basis of the storyline, like, I never beat you, and go on for so long. And I think
that's cool.
With these, you know, I think that'd be a cool thing, especially for these younger fans to, like, when they get older in our age and be like, oh my God, I remember when they were feuding.
Things have changed. Things change. I gotta tell you though, I am a hypocrite because I have all the people. I pretty much I've been wrong about every single guy coming up the ranks. Every single one. Everybody. I haven't been right about. The only guy I know I'm gonna be right about is Braun Strowman. I was positive I was always gonna hate Rusev and he'd suck, and now I love him. So I would say Strowman can never. There's no way he could ever win me over.
Braun Strowman just looks like a big bag of just a big loaf of bread that nobody eats. It's just there.
He has no legs. He has skinny little chicken legs.
It's just like, you know how, like, you get, like, loaf of bread and then, like, everybody eats, like, a particular kind, and then there's always that kind that's just sitting there and you're just like, why isn't anybody eating this? Oh, we don't like that kind.
That's him.
You're just like, what did I spend $1 for? Like, why? That's him. He's the roles at Thanksgiving nobody wants.
You know he gets bullied backstage.
You know what really would just, like, disturb me is if I, like, hear a rumor that, like, he's a ladies' man. I'd be like, where?
Well, Ruru is a ladies' man.
Him, I could believe. Rusev is actually good looking.
You think?
Yeah. He's actually good looking. Braun Strowman, no.
Ruru has got away with the ladies. That's all I know.
But he also has something that's a diameter of a Coke can.
Yes. And I do believe that he, as a family man, he has an advantage. And the one thing I'm very disappointed in Kevin Owens in with the John Cena feud, and I thought they were going to go there, and Kev actually brought this up on the air, I would have loved to seen Kevin Owens bring up the fact that he's a family man and that John Cena's a fraud and leads a very vapid lifestyle. I mean, that would have been awesome. That might be the next rendition for these guys.
Oh my god!
I was dying to see Kevin Owens actually bring his son into the ring and then use his son as a weapon to beat John Cena.
Oh my god! No,
that could have.
They're not done, guys. They're not done.
Like I actually, now that you point that out about him, calling out Cena for being a hypocrite and all this stuff, Kevin Owens could be like, dude, you're on Total Divas every week, and Nikki Bella is basically begging you to marry her. Like, just, oh man, that would be so good.
When Rock did his little song, the Cleveland Let's Rock, and he talked about him backstage, Cena backstage kicking it to Eve Torres. Doesn't Cena have a wife? And then Cena gets divorced like a month later. That was so bad.
Yeah, and the timing was just like, wow, like really? I wonder if that actually did happen.
Who knows? I mean,
it feels like it was true.
Rock has free reign.
How do you guys like this Randy Orton Shield thing?
I don't like Randy Orton being grouped with Reigns and Ambrose.
I don't like Randy Orton having friends. I like the Viper.
Yep.
I don't like this because then he starts smiling a lot and it gets awkward. Even for me as a female, it just gets awkward. Like
Randy Orton breaking kayfabe and laughing at
yes.
the guy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Laughing?
It was weird. Like, just no. No.
I'll tell you something. There isn't a man alive that could stand in a ring and see Big E coming down the aisle, dancing, making those facial expressions, and can keep a straight face.
Big E makes the most crazy and outlandish facial expressions that you can't help but laugh.
His tongue is out, and he's got big eyes, and he's gyrating his penis towards the stage. It's the coolest thing. And then he's got that little tight singlet with the big jacket. I mean, he looks ridiculous. And on top of that, he's jacked beyond relief.
Yeah, like he has...
He reminds me of D'Lo Brown. Where, like, I was always afraid D'Lo Brown was out to the ring. His head was just going to pop off one of these days.
But D'Lo like, kind of, like, fit his body. Biggie is a character of himself.
Yeah.
I love the New Day. They are the best part of Raw. They're awesome. And I like that Kofi's serious, and the other two guys are not serious at all.
Yeah, and Kofi is just like, if you told me a year ago that they were going to do this with Kofi Kingston, I would be like, you are crazy. Like,
they saved his career. Kofi was in trouble.
Oh my god. Yes. I mean,
no way. If he can come back every year for Royal Rumble and do some ridiculous save where he gets thrown out of the ring and lands on his hands, or
but he's still a jobber.
Yeah, but still, you know what? He's I don't know. I feel like he always had his spot.
They're gonna keep losing the belts and winning them back. They're gonna become a legit tag team, like Freebird style. These guys, this is gonna be the big tag team. They're gonna go for a while, and I think they're going to get 5 or 6 title reigns.
I feel like they're the new tag team that is going to be considered super annoying. Like, remember years ago it used to be Edge and Christian were super annoying? They're going to be that.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot you can do with them.
Yeah. Because their gimmick is so goofy, and it's just like the things that they come up with, it's like, you're like, oh my god, like, you guys are annoying, but it's funny. Like, you can't help but laugh.
So, last week, Seth Rollins was really upset that no one was excited for him or had his back backstage anywhere. Like he was complaining. And then when the lumberjack match started, the New Day kept clapping for him and like rooting him on, and Seth kept looking back annoyed at them. And I thought that was really interesting. I enjoyed that Seth Rollins wanted the validation, but the fact that it was the New Day cheering for him, it didn't mean anything to him. Like, I really thought that was kind of cool. And it says a lot about all their characters. And I think, I hate the fact that the group of wrestlers we have on TV right now, maybe one of the best WWE rosters of all time, is in this shitty era where there's no fans.
Yeah.
Because we're really lucky to have this collection of people that we do. We have some great legends. We have some great workers. The Divas are legitimate now. We have some real tag teams now. It's like, this is the best roster they've had at least in 15 years. Right now. Today. Anyway, Ciara, thank you for joining us tonight. This is arguably, you know what? Honestly, Killer Kev, you can say what you want, but the magic that took place in this booth tonight, this is all ours. And there's nothing you can do to take away the magic that was on these airwaves tonight. Kev, I gotta tell you something. Stevie J would love this show. This would probably be one of his favorites.
I take full blame for anything I said or did.
You can't get fired.
I can get reprimanded.
Like you give a fuck. Anyway.
Tensai always gets me in trouble.
I gotta tell you, when you get on these airwaves and you go past like 12:30, everyone starts getting very loopy and everything's funny. It's
Even just a word is funny.
Well, we appreciate it, and Kev, I'm sorry you had to listen to all this. I'm sorry as a producer you had to listen to your talent talk on the air. I apologize. So to all the fans,
don't forget.
What?
Ciara equals ratings.
Ciara does equal ratings. I think we're up to 18 people tonight.
I don't even know if I equal what I equal. I just look at wrestling and talk about it.
There you go. There's nothing wrong with that.
I'd be so busy freaking writing and stuff. Like,
so what all are you doing, Ciara?
Yeah, there you go.
I write over at Pro Wrestling Ponderings. I still cover women's wrestling. I still put up the all women's wrestling article, which is now the Ring Bells Roundup. I took that over from Lee Burton over at Ring Bells Online when the site went down. He handed it to me, and I took it as my own template and produce it every week. And I've been doing that for a while, and now I'm hosting shows over Pro Wrestling Ponderings. I do the newscasts, and we also have a women's wrestling podcast that we do like every month or so. So between those things and just life, it's a lot, man. But more importantly, never mind those cheap plugs. Come here at Angry Marks. This is where I started. This is where I was born and where I was bred. I want people to still come here and support this site as if I was still here and never left.
Well, I don't think anybody knows this yet, and this is going to be a surprise to everybody on the air right now.
Mm-hmm.
But big announcement for Angry Marks: Killer Kev is now getting replaced by Ciara. She's going to be the third man in the booth. It's been great working with you, Killer Kev.
It's been nice knowing you, Kev.
You know what? If Ciara really wanted to come and take my spot right here on Raw Reaction, I would have no problems.
Like, she's going to be a producer for every show.
There you go. She can produce every show and I can go to bed.
Poor Kev.
I will tell you, no disrespect to anybody on Thursday nights, but the Stevie J Ciara combo was unmatched.
I'm kind of glad to see that you guys are still doing shows and there's old faces coming in, new faces coming in. It's just so cool that, this place that I was started at is still growing. And
Ciara, near far, wherever you are, our heart goes on and on and on.
And on.
And on.
True indeed. You may not be here as often, but you are never departed from the family.
And another thing I had to bring up now that I remembered it, thank you guys for the birthday. Like, that was just so sweet. Like, I wasn't expecting, like, everybody to say happy birthday. Like, I've been gone. It feels like I've been gone longer than a year, but it just feels like it was just so warm to see that you guys still like remembered.
Everybody loves Ciara.
I hope everybody does. I hope I didn't make any enemies.
Well, it's been great, and you're always welcome at Raw Reaction.
Thank you guys for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you. Big Deck, the pleasure of having you on here tonight, buddy. It was all on my side of the table, baby. Thank you, Big Deck. Hey, Kevin, it pains me to say this and let you off the hook, but you can hit the music, buddy. Thanks, everyone.